All right, everybody, welcome to our second week here. We have Team XYZ versus Flawless Virtue, and we're going to get started on this one draft. We already have a quick Mordekaiser ban, a quick Rengar ban, and a quick Rek'Sai ban between these two teams, targeting the jungle so far in the events.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm just looking to see. I haven't seen much of either of these junglers, and my notes say that Unknown Legend is the jungler, but I think that might be incorrect. I think it might be moves like Jag in the jungle. So we'll see how that shakes down. But in any case, you're right. They are being targeted. Rek'Sai and Rengar both taken away. Now Lulu also taken away from navcast.
Who just plays a stupid amount of that champion.
Exactly.
So.
yeah. These guys have done their research. They have been looking at some OPGGs, and Nautilus does come in for Prudi here. And we were saying before on the desk, Caution and Prudi, a bot lane to watch out for. So that Nautilus, strong engage, definitely dangerous in that bot lane.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna be able to catch on to them. I mean, you guys were talking earlier about potentially the bot lane being what this team wants to play through, but for me, I'm a bit biased as a support player. I'm like a lot of the support difference, and I feel like navcast is real good at that position. Having been on the University of Manitoba team before, and having won money doing it through the collegiate league, so.
Little flex on there. Little flex on our viewers there.
Yeah, obviously.
Right.
A lot of that was Rodolph was on the team too and stuff, but he belonged on that team, and he was.
Well, that's important information.
yeah, it is important, but still, they were a good team, and
yes.
Again, we'll be watching that matchup. Did you pick the Tahm Kench over there? Likely a support position. Obviously, combos well with that Senna, where you do the starving Senna or whatever they call it these days.
Yeah, fasting Senna, which is from
yeah.
a Korean way of.
Yeah, I love playing that crap. I have 98 games of Senna this season, and most
it's
of
them
so good, isn't it?
Yeah, is it still good after this patch? I haven't. It's not something I've gotten that much into.
Not broken anymore.
There you go. Yeah,
it used to
I guess
be free. I went from
yeah.
like a 58% win rate playing it to like a 45% win rate playing it. So
okay. Yeah.
And then most of that's because I'm not good. But when it was broken,
you had a hot streak there.
Yeah. When it was broken, I looked good. Anyway, Graves and Kai'Sa being picked over on the other side, so an aggressive jungler being picked over there for Jag. And Kai'Sa, like you were mentioning before, Caution does play very well in that chat.
Yes, indeed. And I told you off stream that it was XYZ on blue side. That's my mistake. It is Flawless Virtue on blue side, so they're the ones who got that Nautilus first pick. And XYZ, I've just been told by one of our producers that Senna Tahm Kench is a very common lane for them. As a matter of fact, they played it in all their games last week. So yeah, the Wukong as well coming in. So we've got both bot lanes all set to go. We've got Nautilus Kai'Sa versus Senna Tahm Kench. And Senna Tahm Kench, as you said, even on this patch, we are playing on the live patch, by the way. Still really strong bot lane, so safe, so good in lane. You know, it's that's a win in draft for XYZ in terms of this bot lane, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Just get like basically what they're considering comfort right now, and they're gonna play it while it's broken because Senna is due for another nerf apparently, which makes me sad because I feel like it's actually just more balanced now, but it's more targeted at pro play. But anyway, moving on from that, we are seeing some tank top laners being banned out by Team XYZ here. Ornn and the Maokai being taken care of. The Vladimir, big champion for Kept, being banned out right now, but likely gonna wait to see what Kept's gonna counter pick on that one. So. He's a hard person to counterpick. He plays a lot of champions.
He's got a big pool. Yeah, I was looking at his match history, and man, yeah, this guy is able to play pretty much anything you need him to. I'm interested in this Wukong pick. The Ornn and Maokai bans coming out makes me, and as I say that, the set coming in, I was about to say it makes me think maybe they're sending the Wukong top to trying to force Flawless Virtue into some sort of skill matchup up there, some sort of carry matchup, but. That still could be the case as we see Skarner coming in for Captain Snarfles.
Yeah, Skarner kind of locked in there. Does give them the opportunity to just lock up someone and bring them straight to the team. Captain Flowers, if he wasn't casting LCS right now, I'm sure he'd be proud.
I was about to say, where is he when you need him? But anyway, yeah, we do have the Skarner coming in. Another important thing that does is forces the QSS to come out on both Graves and Kai'Sa. That's a whole 1,300 gold you can't spend on your next BF sword or your next blasting wand.
Yeah, you just paid a summoner spell.
Exactly.
doing something more aggressive.
Yeah, you're taxing them for that crowd control.
Yeah, definitely see if they end up using that. Azir looking for some clear scaling over on the other side over here for Flawless Virtue, looking to kind of live through the laning phase, and Azir, Kai'Sa, those two champions are all about that, and Volibear will be potentially the jungle over there right now, and then there we go, Cassiopeia will be locked up for kept. Give them some more like consistent damage. That's the one thing they kind of were lacking on that team just before that pick was long-term damage over a longer team fight, but they got plenty of burst.
Yeah, I really like the Cassiopeia pick coming in, just sort of completing. That's the missing piece of the puzzle here for XYZ. Pardon me. Is that scaling, exactly as you're saying. The Senna Tahm Kench, as we said, very strong in lane, especially now with the nerfs, doesn't scale as well. Neither does the Wukong. So you really were looking for that late game damage, especially to match the Azir Kai'Sa. Not only that, you've got big tanks coming in on Flawless Virtue. Volibear, Nautilus, such a huge front line. They're really looking for these back-to-front fights. So something like Cassiopeia, who can do that crazy scaling damage, is really going to be useful in late game team fights.
Yeah, one pick I want to talk about a little bit for you. I want to get a little bit of your opinion. I've seen a little bit of the Graves lately. I've been playing on a team that has been running it too. Right now, Graves with the new Death Stance almost feels busted. You're like, this is a guy supposed to be like an AD carry sort of, and he's just so tanky and does so much damage and is kind of wild. We'll see if moves like Jag ends up going with that build, and I imagine most Graves have settled on the Death Stance build, but it's not a jungler we see very often, so I wanted to know your kind of opinion on it.
Yeah, I think Graves is a really good. Listen to this, aspiring ladder climbers in solo queue. Graves is really good in solo queue right now. He's able to effectively gank. He's able to do a lot of damage early game, and he scales pretty nicely, as you said, with that Death Stance build. With Death Stance and with the build Graves normally goes, which is almost full damage, he's still, when he gets those stacks, he's still getting like upwards of 200-300 armor in the late game. And that's with almost no armor items. That's just so good. And as you said, some people might call this broken. It is really good.
It's one of those things that feels broken.
Yes, indeed. I
remember seeing a Graves at under 100 HP, and I'm going to carry at the time. I can't remember which champion was playing. And I'm like, oh, I'll just auto attack him. He's dead. I got 2 auto attacks, and he lived. And I was like, what?
What? That's not allowed.
Why is this allowed? Why? Get this out of my game.
Yeah, exactly. So. And it's one of those things, which we've all seen in solo queue where it's like, this champion's broken. No, he just has 10 kills. But that can happen. I would say he could struggle a little bit in the early game. Obviously, no crowd control available. Does have that dash, but if they invade him early, he still is a ranged AD carry. He still does have that that slow attack speed and in the early game that can really affect you when you've got a Skarner with red buff kind of just like knocking at your door all day long. So we'll see what this I'm especially interested to see if Senna Tahm Kench, or if kind of we can get the Wukong Skarner duo to sort of invade him and try to shut him down, because if he does get shut down, it can feel really difficult to catch back up, and he can really feel sort of hopeless if he doesn't get a really great early game going on. So that's the one weakness I see in Graves, and we are going to hope that XYZ can take advantage of that.
Yeah. Another kind of interesting matchup to talk about a little bit is the top lane. I think the Volibear is not someone you see a whole lot these days, but I believe Volibear recently got some buffs and is getting at least a little bit more play. How do you feel about this Volibear versus Wukong matchup?
Yeah, they banned out the Ornn and Maokai, who are sort of the two meta tanks right now, and clearly they're looking at Unknown Legend as somebody who really is comfortable on tanks. Unknown Legend happens to be the lowest ranked player in this match, and in that case, you saw this again. Not to call out Dinsey, but you saw this with Dinsbag on Vodertron. They put him on these tanks. And they say, okay, just survive, don't die too much, and we're going to hope that we can survive and get our carries who are, maybe have some more mechanical ability to the late game. So that's what I like about the Volibear. He is able to lane just fine against Wukong. We're not expecting any solo kills or anything, but this is sort of the strategy I think Flawless Virtue is going with, is like, okay, we have a bit of a mismatch there as opposed to mid where it's very close, both really strong strong players there. A bit of a mismatch in top lane. Let's see what we can do to counteract that by putting him on something very safe that can be useful in the late game with that speed up and with that fling. And that's what I think they're trying to do. I like it. I like that they're having that adjustment. They have Azir and Kai'Sa on Caution and Apocalyptical. They're 2 star players, and that's what they're trying to get to. And just making sure you can see my you can see what's going on here. You can see we are about to get into the game. And on the blue side, we have Flawless Virtue with Unknown Legend in the top lane, moves like Jag in the jungle, Apocalyptical on mid, Caution at ADC, and Prudi on support.
And over on the red side on Team XYZ, we have Girthy Lampost sitting in the top lane, Captain Snarfles on the Skarner in the jungle, kept in the mid. At bot, we have LE joined by navcast supporting him.
All right, and of course you can all follow Navcast Twitch channel because he has it right there in his name. I've never seen his Twitch channel, but clearly he streams. I wonder if he's streaming this.
Probably not, because that might be I've tuned into him a couple times when he's a showcaster as well. So
okay, cool.
I've definitely tuned into him, watching him showcase some of my buddies' solo queue games actually.
Oh, nice. Okay, and just let me. We may be a little bit ahead of the stream, so I've got our producer in my ear just doing that. So we're going to pause for about 5 seconds here, and go. Okay, so hope to get a message that we are right on time, and looks like we're pretty close. Just going to pause for a little bit more, and let's go with that.
All right, so we have just a little bit of a line of scrimmage situation. No invades kind of going on, so nothing going to happen spicy in this early game so far, but we'll see where kind of anyone goes up. I'm very interested in kind of where the junglers set their priority over here. Obviously, like we mentioned in the pregame lobby, the Kept is such a big carry on this team for XYZ that potentially can send a lot in there, but
yeah, indeed. So yeah, I'm wondering, it's not a super volatile early game matchup, that Cassiopeia versus Azir, but yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes, because there is solo kill potential, especially with Skarner. I think Skarner in particular can really make a lot happen. It's a pretty specific pick, as LE does take quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah, nice little hook hitter hit by Prudi as they're trying to get up top. LE gonna put him down a little bit, but it is said it will heal up with that. It will end up being a positive trade for the XYZ bot lane once they kind of heal that back up.
I agree. The damage does continue to go down though. Navcast really pretty low, and that's something to worry about. Although, yeah, as you say, healing up, and I totally agree. Prudi and Caution getting the better of that trade, as you can see.
Yeah, it's one of the things that makes the lane feel unfair, is that it feels like it's impossible to trade with, because you're doing damage and you're healing all at the same time. Okay. So it's, it can feel pretty oppressive in the laning phase when you're like, oh, I just want to trade like normal people, but kind of can't.
I've been asked to speed up the playback a little bit to catch back up. I went too heavy on the pausing there, so we'll speed that up just a bit. Nothing happening here. We're just casting some. And you won't see this on the stream, of course. You only Johnny and I are seeing exactly what I'm talking about, but we'll making sure we're exactly in the right position here.
Yeah, hopefully we can sync up and be okay with stream again. A little bit more trading going on in the bot lane, and we were saying earlier this was kind of a little bit the lane to watch, as these two are kind of doing this right now. The one thing, Prudi hitting another hook over onto Navcast. He's gonna walk back. He does have a bunch of that gray health. He can pop if he got into danger, but he won't need to.
There we go. Should be lined up now. And yeah, the thing about these junglers is that they also are not exactly the most aggressive early game junglers generally. Like, you can see some early ganks from Graves, but Skarner really wants to farm to level 6 in a lot of cases. I did say he was effective early game, but really his level 6, as we all know, is where he gets that super strong gets that super strong ultimate, which is able to do some really great stuff in a gank. As we do have this bot lane, Ignite goes down on navcast.
Skarner's making his way over towards the bot lane as well to join in on this flash. Comes through for Prudi, but he's going to be slowed down here. He's going to be stunned up now. Prudi's going to try to get over, gets a bit of a shield, but it will not be enough. And Captain Snarfles will pick up first blood.
Yes, navcast holds his nerve right there. He was so low, but he's like, I know we got help coming. I know how much I can survive. They really do a great job of getting that going there. And yeah, that's a really nice gank from the Skarner, using that Predator to great effect.
Yeah,
so,
and it's they've been playing this multiple games in a row. This is the third game in a row they're playing it, like we mentioned before, and it just goes to show that they're practicing with this and they know what they're kind of doing. Again, yeah, it is something that I expect to get a nerf right away, but like, whatever, take the wins while you can right now.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, I really like that. That's a very, very successful gank. They do, of course, blow the flash and ignite on Prudi. They blow the heal on Caution, and you'll love to see it. That's what you want to do as a Skarner, as Graves continue to farm up. What I like is that Skarner, Captain Snarfles on the Skarner, able to stay even in farm with the Graves, as Skarner, with another gank coming in, Apocalyptical.
It's coming over towards mid lane. Apocalyptical is going to try to flash out, but will still get stunned up there. Going to about a quarter health, about 100 HP left. Does finally get away. Moves like Jag has made his way over towards here for the counter gank, and it will be enough to keep Apocalyptical alive.
Kept already putting out so much damage. That is awesome. That's a really nice play from Captain Snarfles and Kept there to combo for a very effective gank as well on Apocalyptical. And they both did have to flash away there, but so much pressure applied in that mid lane.
A great job done over there by those two. And again, we'll be monitoring that lane fairly often, but we're going to go back to this bot lane a little bit more, because I'm going to talk about, like I said, I've 98 games with Senna this season.
Yeah,
so
bring it on, man. Let me hear the insider knowledge.
So right now you are seeing a bit of a CS deficit over here, but you're just not really worried about it, as they do get another route here to be able to go to the Prudi. You don't want to hit that hook, because it's just a bait. Because look at what happens here. You die now. That's what's so terrible about playing against this lane, is that you're like, oh, I'm just going to hit this hook because I can, and it doesn't do anything. It actually baits you, so it's free.
We talked about the strength of this this Senna Tahm Kench lane, and we are just seeing it in spades here, as Kept a nice aggressive move on Apocalyptical. A clear... Was that an ultimate?
I think that Kept just whiffed it.
I don't think that's what Kept intended to do. Maybe we'll have to ask him after the game. But in any case, still really impressive laning by him. But yeah, like
you can run out of him now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cassiopeia is so dangerous when she gets a lead. So hard to. But he is keeping up in farm a little bit, which is nice. And yeah, like we were saying, this Tahm Kench Senna lane just so oppressive. And the Kai'Sa does outscale in damage, of course, but you got to get to that late game if you want to do that. And right now, a really impressive play by the bot lane of XYZ here, but of XYZ, I should say. We're all Canadians here.
Yeah, I'd say XYZ.
And the flash
comes through, he's able to get the root as the auto thing goes over to the top lane, but navcast will pick up that kill. Prudi is here trying to trade something away from this one. Moves like Jag has made it way down, trying to get out of there, trying to become a spooky ghost to get out, but LE will go down to moves like Jag. So a nice little counter gank pulled off there. At least makes it a 1-for-1, but Captain Snarfles is here now, has ultimate, does hit R, is going to take down. Navcast will pick up the third kill of the game, and this Tahm Kench is going to be unkillable eventually.
It's so brutal. They really want to get that Tahm Kench. Luckily, they do finally get the kill onto LE, but man, it's the Tahm Kench who's got the bounty on his head right now. And moves like Jag does well to show up there and get that counter gank in, but then once again, we just see XYZ come ahead in this trade.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to talk more about the bot lane for a little bit. Because they keep interrupting me with fighting, which is, really the goal. As a play-by-play
what we've seen in this, we try to get into some analysis. It's like, no, we're fighting again.
And we don't get to again. Apocalyptical is going to ult over here on the Captain Snarfles. Snarfles is going to try to make his way around. Did use his ult earlier, so does not have it for himself right now. Taking a ton of free damage. A teleport is now coming through. Prudi will miss the dredge line, but here comes LE, taking one down. A second target's looking for there. Moves like Jag is going to try to flash away. They will narrowly get away, and that'll be a 1-for-0 in a situation that looked bad for Captain Snarfles initially.
Yeah, definitely looked like he was caught out, but he knew exactly how his bread was buttered there as Kept was on the way. Now, Kept putting out so much damage in this fight. He did whiff his ult again in that fight, so we're going to watch out for those Cassiopeia ults, try to get some damage on that next time. But even so, they're really nicely ahead in this early game, and they've done a really great job. Captain Snarfles is exactly where he needs to be every point of the game, and I really like that from him. I like that. That's really what you need to do as a Skarner, is be there to apply that pressure. You're a strong skirmisher. You need to be in these early game fights, and he totally is.
And the scary part of this is that Team XYZ has the composition that scales really well. So you're ahead early, you're ahead by 2.7k gold, and you scale super well, so you're never really get behind unless their play can be made by Flawless Virtue at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the Kai'Sa and Azir on the other side, but Cassiopeia, I would say, outscales Azir, and so once you have that early lead, it's really scary as... Oh, they do really nicely dodge
Prudi,
that dredge line.
Yeah, maybe lucky that,
yeah, exactly.
To be honest, because they're getting some damage onto him over here. And meanwhile, we do have a fight going on as moves like Jag is being invaded on. LE will pick up that kill over on Prudi. Moves like Jag does go down from that invade, and now they're going to go over towards the Rift Herald.
Everywhere on the map, there's fighting, and yeah, they do finally get Prudi again. As he had to burn that flash, you can see it's just gone on cooldown as well as the heal from Caution. So dominance by the XYZ bot lane. As and as you said, we did see the engagement at the blue buff as well. And XYZ coming ahead in that engagement as well. They did, I believe, get that blue buff. So we are going to see Girthy Lampost push in here. He's got a sizable CS lead against the Volibear, expected. A bit of a skill differential between those two players. And yeah, we are potentially seeing a dive here as the passive does get popped.
Dive over to the top lane, but they will actually just back out from that one. Prudi, meanwhile, does hit another dredge line, but is going to have to run away from this. Moves like that, gets way over towards here, and is just going to take a ton of damage here. You can't fight this lane anymore. LE is going to pick up another kill, third of the game. Caution is now being exhausted. You will be taking out. Double kill comes through now for LE, and oh. We were talking about Caution, maybe this being their win condition in this bot lane, but they are falling really behind.
Yeah, if he had been able to get, as I say that, I'll pause as we may see a dive here. It looks like Captain Snarfles may have been pushed back.
Yeah, just kind of up there. Takes a free triple turret.
Yeah.
Like, never mind.
Never mind, I'm out. I heard Wes was talking about the bot lane engage, so I'm going to let him give him a little bit of time. Anyway, the Kai'Sa maybe could have gotten something done in that case, but LE just had a perfect stun. He sneaked it right by the jungler and the support and got it onto the Kai'Sa. So the Kai'Sa was not able to apply any damage in that fight because she wasn't able to get there, as we do have Apocalyptical with the engage.
Does try to come in, tries to get in with that electric slide and push him back, but will be taken down. Prudi, meanwhile, is being taken out by Kept as they come into the fight as well. Double kill will come through for Kept 1, so Kept is joining the game. Meanwhile, Alt is going on the top lane. Lampost will pick up the 1v1 kill, and that will be a 3-for-0 across the map.
Oh man, and we are getting close to a 10,000 gold lead. Here's the dive on Caution. There's no way he gets out of this. Nice
tries to get that, tries to at least trade a kill, but that will not happen. They're going to get that down. Meanwhile, the mid lane's being pushed through because there's a Rift Herald there, and everything is coming crashing down on Flawless Virtue.
This is brutal. 13 kills to 1. Oh man, I don't even know what you're supposed to do here as Flawless Virtue. We said before, is this an opportunity to just start talking about next game? And start talking about what's gone wrong here, you know, use this as a little team meeting as you slowly bleed out objectives and kills. It sounds a little harsh, but there's a potential as Captain Snarfles flashed in on Prudi again.
Yeah, Prudi, sorry, you don't get to play League of Legends today.
Oh man, sometimes
fifth to kill the game.
Sometimes this just happens, man. Sometimes you gotta stomp, and you gotta figure out what to make of it. You know, this is one of those things that happens. It happens to everyone. You get stomped sometimes, and you have to figure out, you know, what is the best. What's the best thing we can do right now? How can we use this to improve ourselves? And do we want to try for this like such a low percentage comeback here as we now do have a 10,000 gold lead at 13 minutes in, and that is just that's it's almost insurmountable. So. Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, well, what is our only win condition? Maybe you just try to 5-stack somewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Valorant, so I'm going to be using terms of
5-stack. Yeah. There you go.
So anyway, maybe you just do a death rush somewhere and try to just catch someone else, because right now, individually, none of you have more gold than anyone individually on the enemy team. So you can't 1v1 anywhere. You can't 2v2, 3v3, anything. You have to outnumber them by quite a bit. Meanwhile, Unknown Legend, speaking of trying to go for a 1v1, he's there. Girthy Lampost's ult just uses it, and
Blade of the Ruined King already completed on that Wukong. So strong on him, especially against these tanky members of Flawless Virtue. And yeah, as our audience turns green with envy after finding out that you have got access to Valorant, we do see Ocean Drake, the second dragon, being taken by XYZ, and kept just continuing to be frightening, to say the least, on that Cassiopeia.
Yeah, and it's just gonna continue going that way, because like it's not like the jungle at this point. We're talking about how Graves can sometimes feel unfair. Well, this is what Graves feels like from behind, and it doesn't feel like a good champion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we talked about that. This is a bit of a an extreme version of what we were talking about there, but it is a version of it nonetheless. Yeah, we do see it pushing in.
There you go.
This looks like
it's not going to take a whole lot of damage. You can pop that Grey Health at any point here. In fact, decides to use
a nice ultimate.
Just live, and boom, everyone's going to go down. Caution's going to be able to pick up at least a kill there, but it's not going to be very good for you in the long run. 3 for 1 now in favor for Team XYZ as they're going to continue to go for more. Caution's going to use that heal to potentially just get out of there, and they're going to have to give up this turret.
Yeah, waiting for the minion wave. And Johnny, that was it. That was what you needed. You said 5-stack. That was the 5-stack. That was where XYZ got all together. They opened themselves up to 0.
Oh, Ellie goes godlike. And Ace comes through. That's 4th kill now for navcast as well. Well, let's think it again. I was saying, yeah, you want to stack as 5, but you wanted to hopefully stack as 5 and catch someone by themselves, maybe only 2 by themselves. And well, the rest of Team XYZ was just right there, realizing, hey, if they 5-stack, they win the game as well.
Exactly, no matter how many towers are shooting at us.
Yeah.
And I like the move by Apocalyptical. I think that's something he had to go for. He went in for that ultimate. Got a lot of people knocked up. He got a lot of people close to the tower, but they just don't have the damage. You look across at the item builds of Flawless Virtue, and they are in poverty right now. They just they're not able to output enough damage with, you know, half completed items and, you know, just things cobbled together right now. They cannot face up against the power of a fully stacked Seraph's and a Leandri's Torment already completed on Cassiopeia. That's huge. That's his 2 core items completed already with just the Nashor's Tooth on Azir. He's more than a full item.
And just to make more Valorant / CSGO references, it's like you're permanently on an eco.
Yeah, exactly.
Do anything, but it's not like you just sit there and save and then you suddenly have as many items as the team. Meanwhile, we are seeing Girthy Lampost take out Caution over here. That double ultimate is going to be able to take that one down. Unknown Legend as well is going to go down to 3 members over here. Eventually, he's a little tanky, but you know, they're just really far ahead. Meanwhile, moves like Jag is trying to fight Kept over here but moves like Jag get taken down. Double kill comes through for Kept. Ultimate from Ellie just to be safe here. Hey, are we done fighting? No, why would we be? Here we go, and you're going to be taking out Mr. Nautilus. That's the ace! And yeah, everyone's still alive on Team XYZ. This is a thank you next kind of situation.
Oh man, yeah, nobody. And here's the difference. You can't even hit a random 1-dig or something in this game. You know? You're not. One shot to the head is not going to kill any of these members of these teams. So at 25-2, we are seeing absolute dominance by XYZ. And yeah, I mean. I'm trying to think of, you know, like what is Flawless Virtue talking about right now in terms of draft for next game? Like, you know, where did we go wrong? And
oh boy,
there goes
I think right now you're for sure getting rid of the Senna Tahm Kench.
Oh, it's brutal, eh?
Even though you might think, okay, we just play around a little differently. In other words, don't actually attack straight at it, because like I said, it is basically impossible to trade with. It's actually bad when even or behind, because it doesn't like scale as well as it used to pre the soul nerfs. So it's something that you can kind of stay even with and be fine.
Senna, Tahm Kench, even or behind? I don't understand.
But it's so hard to not. Yeah, exactly. They're just so oppressive in lane. So like it is something you think, hey, do we think we can run it back and not get this far behind this lane? I don't think so, but at the same time, you're also just losing everywhere else. You have an 8-0-4 Cat, which we haven't talked about really throughout this game.
Exactly.
You have a 5-0-2 Lampost over Like it's you're essentially losing everywhere, but a large part of it was you spent resources trying to help out bot, and it just kept getting worse and worse.
I think you're right. I think the bot lane definitely should be a point of focus here. Oh, that's just mean.
Well, you take that, I guess.
Yeah, caution will take those.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, I think that bot lane definitely is a good point of focus here, as that was sort of the catalyst, as you said, for this lead. You're bringing on Apocalyptical here. Takes so much damage just off of a couple of spells. Here comes the damage on navcast.
Yeah, he does tank so. He's so far in. 2 items on what is your quote-unquote support. And,
yeah, he popped that stone plate there, so that cooldown is down. But oh look, he's back to full health again.
Oh, yeah. And ultimate for good measure.
Yep, caution
Kind
is
of a
out.
waste of ult, but it doesn't really matter. Prudi's trying to get in there, hit the stretch line, does get stunned up, does get pulled, takes tank 2 ults, but it won't matter very much. Kep's gonna pick up that one, go legendary. The turret's gonna go down while the rest of them go down as well, so it's a 3 for nothing now. And I believe they could just push the base here.
This looks like it. 2 damage dealers available. Oh, and that's a really nice ultimate. The Ninja Diffuse comes in, and they get 1 round back.
Yeah, 1 round, yeah.
That's not going to do much.
At least you've shown you got some decent Azir mechanics, but it's pretty rough when everyone is this far behind in the game, and that's like I said earlier, a little bit of a GG next.
Yes, indeed.
Hope for a better game 2.
You hate to see it, Johnny. You hate to see that kind of game, but it does happen, and you got to deal with it. We'll see what Flawless Virtue will do to deal with such a demoralizing defeat after the break.